Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of House and Home podcast. Episode 3 is all about getting organized. So today, let's tackle that. Once you've done some decluttering, which if you listen to episode 2, you'll know how important I feel that is and why. So that's a crucial one to hear that episode before you maybe delve into this, but you don't have to, but it would be helpful. But if you've done enough decluttering, then, at least you hopefully have thinned out, your stuff. At least now you should be able to start organizing what you are keeping. You need to be realistic about how much space you actually have to work with. Organization can only go so far. If you still have too much stuff for the available space, then you must reassess. I'm just saying, you can only fit so much stuff into a smaller space. So be realistic about what you're working with. And it can't work any other way. You have to thin down more if you don't have enough space. So remember that. Now, again, I'm not going to go in depth on, how to organize every inch of your space. There's so much information online, that you can research about that, but it's pretty cut and dry. But I want to share my top tips that can at least get you started. So, number 1, bins, baskets, and other storage items. My first piece of advice, and this is crucial, plan what is going where and try as hard as you can to group like items together, things you use at the same time, whatever. You'll kind of figure that out as you go, but group your things together. Don't do what I did and go out and buy a bunch of organizational things, bins, baskets, and all kinds of great things from IKEA and what have you, and then come home and try and make these things work for my items in my space. It doesn't work that way. And I end up with all of these extra bins and items that I spent money on again, and they don't work. So I'm telling you now, it's crucial to plan out the ways that you will be storing and using the items that you're keeping, and then decide which organizational items will work best. You want to explore what's out there first. Even start a list or even a separate Pinterest board if you're a Pinterest user. A separate board just for organizational items that you find on there. And then some ideas for places to kind of look. If you're not a Pinterest person, but even once you see things on Pinterest, then look at stores online like IKEA, even Target and Walmart. And of course, Amazon has a ton of storage and organizational items. And even the dollar store, you can get all kinds of neat little storage things at the dollar store. So there's no need to spend a lot of money on any of this. Now, make sure your systems are going to work for you. And that's simple for me to say, but it's hard to plan this out. But I'm telling you, the time you take to plan it out will pay off in the long run. It needs to be set up in a way that, you can easily get at what you need and easily put it back when you're done. Because if you don't do that, you'll find the stuff just stays out and you bought the organizational item and you still don't put the stuff back where it goes. So it has to be planned out. Another big consideration also is your personal family situation. If you've got kids, young kids, or teenagers, a spouse, etc., you're going to need to obviously consider all of that and their stuff too when planning out your setup. So that's just got to be factored into the mix. Now, a word here quick about small spaces. Sometimes it may mean getting rid of some furniture. One of the big mistakes I see a lot when I go on listing appointments is the size and amount of the furniture people have in a room. And even if it's a big room, but if the furniture is still way too big and there's too much furniture in there, it really affects the look and the feel of the room. So think about that. There may be a room or two in your home where you have too many extra chairs or your couch is way too big. And I understand you can't start all over again. You have to work with it. But if there's places where you can pare down some of the furniture and open that space up, you'll like it a lot better. I can't emphasize enough also how important it is to take the time again to plan this out. If you don't do that, I will promise you will find the clutter creeping back in eventually. And speaking from experience here, it just comes back if it's not planned out and you don't organize it once and for all. Some key areas to focus on initially are the kitchen and bathrooms. We try to store so much stuff in those areas that we really believe we need all this stuff, but we just don't. In the kitchen, I assure you, you have pans and dishes and mugs and glasses that you never use and probably never will. Again, speaking from experience here. So donate that stuff. Pack it up and donate it. It just is sucking up space and energy in your kitchen, and you'll be much more productive and functional if the things you use the most are readily at hand and you're not digging through a cabinet to find a certain pan or a cover or piece of Tupperware. Really be honest and ask yourself, am I ever going to use this again? Because if the answer is, I don't think so, then donate it. Bathrooms, it's the same thing in a way. Again, usually way too much extra stuff we keep in our bathrooms. We don't get rid of shampoos that we tried. We didn't like it. It's half full. We're never going to use it. I know it's a waste. I know it's a shame. And in one of my podcasts in the future, we're going to talk about making better decisions on stuff that we buy, because I do that too. So we need to look at that at some point. But be honest. If there's something you've got under your under your bathroom sink, and you used it and you didn't like it, any kind of hair product, soaps, what have you, get rid of it. Just toss it. It'll make you feel better in the long run. Makeup. I have makeup that I probably will never use again, and I still don't part with it. So I'm still not taking some of my own advice. It's hard. I know it's hard, so I'm not saying it's not. You've got to be brutal, and you've got to get rid of it. So that's my simple tips for getting organized. And I hope you decide to give this a try. And I'd love to hear your feedback, good, bad, or whatever. Message me, and I'll respond. And one last step after the declutter and organization is done is to really give each room a deep cleaning. You can't believe, how much brighter and fresher your space will look when it's clean, especially just cleaning your windows. I'm always amazed at how dirty my windows get, and they don't look dirty, but when I clean them, the whole light in the room changes. It's really amazing. So simple thing like, it's not easy to clean your windows, but it makes such a difference. So this kind of brings me to the topic I want to focus on in my next episode, lighting. Make sure you come back next week for episode 4, because I'm going to tackle the topic of lighting in your home. It's something I overlooked for years, but I promise you the right lighting changes everything. So you'll see some good ideas and easy and inexpensive ways to improve the lighting in the rooms in your home. I hope this was motivating to get you going, and thank you for listening.